what goes on in primary school through my conversations with different people. Each guest will have the same 3 questions. What are the key things we need to know about the topic? What does that look like for students? And what might parents notice? Tune in each week, the link from the e-brief, and let the learning begin. I am so excited this week to welcome Tilson Crew. Tilson Crew is one of our vice principals in the primary school. So Tilson, before we get on to the questions, tell us a little bit about your journey to UWC.
Well, Pauline, I've been teaching a really long time. I started teaching in 1989.
I can't believe that.
So long ago, right?
Are you not retired yet?
I'm not yet. Speaking of retirement, people might think I'm retiring because I'm leaving the school this year.
We are very sad. We don't want to talk about that.
That's true. I don't want to talk about it either, but just as a quick note, I'm not retiring. I've been here for 9 years, which has been an incredible journey. I started off as a mathematics coach first, and then moved on to be vice principal of the primary school, and that's been going on for 6 years being vice principal. So I'm just moving on to my next chapter, next adventure in education.
And is that back home?
It will be. Back home for me is the United States. I'm from a place that many people have never heard of. And it's a place where you think, man, where is that? Where country is that located? And the place I'm from is Las Vegas.
Where is that?
Las Vegas is in a state in the United States of America. So I'm glad you're just teasing me now. Everyone does know where that is.
So we are all going to be visiting Tilson in said Las Vegas. So today, and you did mention there that you're leaving, and today you're going to talk about the systems we have in school to make sure our students and staff transition out of UWC really well and prepare them for their next step. So the first question, as with all of my guests, is what are the key areas we need to know about this topic, about leaving well?
I think it's very important to know that leaving well can be very emotionally challenging for some people, and it can be challenging at certain times. You may feel that on Monday you feel really great about moving on, but then maybe Tuesday you actually are feeling a bit wobbly. So I think what's really important to notice and pay attention to is that your emotions can go up and down through the process. If you think about it as a journey, maybe through a river, and how you might have ups and downs, and you might have to navigate away from rocks and boulders and hit the white water and hit the calm water. It's important to notice that and recognize it will have an impact on you.
Okay. And so our other 2 questions are, what does that look like for students and what might parents notice? So to the students first, Tilson.
So with our students, we're really aware that we want them to start understanding to identify their emotions and how they're feeling about their emotions. So we actually have students participate in Leaving Well sessions. So vice principals meet with groups of students in a grade level to really talk through what our emotions are they feeling and what might be some strategies they could use to support them along the journey. One strategy that we use is something that we call RAFT. And if you think of RAFT as being spelled R-A-F-T, each one of those letters stands for a particular step in a strategy to support you leaving well.
So talk us through the R-A-F-T.
So if you start with the first log on the raft, which is R, that one would be reconciliation. And when you take a step and you're aware of reconciliation, you're considering what relationships do I have out there that I would want to perhaps make better before I leave. So let's say that you and I had an argument last year and we never really ended it well. What would I consider I would need to do to reconcile that situation so we can end it well? And so we have students write down maybe children or family members or friends that they think maybe I just need to end that relationship a little bit better than it is right now. So that's reconciliation, and that's the first step of the strategy. After that, students consider the second step of the strategy, which is very similar with regard to relationships, but on the more positive end. And this log or this step is called affirmation. And that is actually thinking about my friends and my family members and perhaps my teachers, where I have to actually acknowledge that that relationship with those people has been important to me. And actually saying, you know what, I am going to miss you. You've been an important person in my life. I need to acknowledge that and say that. And actually being able to affirm those relationships closes that very well for both people on each end of that relationship. So that's the second log.
So true. And then moving on?
Moving on, the next one you would have is a difficult one, and that's the log of farewell. So when you take the step on the log of farewell, you would make sure that you speak to the people that you are leaving, and you say, this is how I want to stay in touch with you. I am saying goodbye to you. I might say goodbye at a party. I might say goodbye as we have a walk. We might have a special dinner to say goodbye. But that farewell would come with and we're going to stay connected. So that connected piece is very important in that farewell log. In fact, if that connected piece is not there, that could really lead to both people on each end feeling incomplete and not have ended well.
And actually, it's a farewell in person, so if we make sure we concentrate on the connection piece, how we're going to stay in touch, when and how often, then it's just actually saying farewell in person. But now in our online world, we're very used to actually speaking and connecting online. And then the T.
So the T is, I think, the very exciting part of it, and that's where you think about your destination. So when you step on the log of the T, you are actually going to be considering, what is it at my end destination that I'm excited about or that I'm curious about? And so this is really incredible because students and teachers, staff, anyone could consider, what is the next country I'm moving to like? What's my town like? What's my new home or house like? Am I getting a pet at my new house? That happens a lot, where parents seem to offer pets to their children when they leave. So it is finding out those details about where you're going. And this is so fun for family members. If I was thinking, what could a parent do and what would they need to know to support? How could we research and find out information about where we're going together as a family? How could we make a plan and think, oh, when we get there, we want to make sure these are the top 3 things that we do in our new destination.
And is that T then transition?
No, the T is think destination.
Think destination, wow. Which I suppose does help then with that transition.
It does, absolutely.
So just to check again there, Tilson, every child who we know is leaving will go through this with their vice principal, and they'll do it in a group with other students.
They will. And then we talk about, you put the T with the you put the R with the A, with the F, with the T, all 4 of those logs, you tie them together really tightly, and that will help you hop on that raft and go down that stream.
Be ready.
And be down that journey, navigating which way the river takes you.
And I know for many of our students, the dragon plays a huge part in that as well, doesn't it?
The dragon does. So we have dragons that are for each child that's leaving, and they're soft dragons, and the students get a dragon and a marker, and they have their friends sign their dragon, so they take it with them as a memento.
And a really important, for many of our children, a really important step. So as a parent of a child leaving, what should parents be looking out for? What might they notice?
I think it goes back to understanding that their children will be experiencing a range of emotions. I know one thing we do in this time when we meet with children is, how are you feeling on a scale from 1 to 5 right now? So 1 being very, very low, I'm feeling very wobbly and I'm finding this tricky right now. 5 being, I'm so excited and I cannot wait to start my journey. And asking your child where they are at that moment might really help. Because if your child comes in and says, hey, I'm sitting at about a 2, as a parent you could say, how are you doing with your raft? Have you reconciled? Have you affirmed some of your relationships? What are those farewells looking like for you right now? And if you could be a 3 tomorrow, what might we do together to help you get to a 3?
Perfect. That's really, really good. Thank you so much. I'm really impressed that actually you managed to deliver that really well when you're going through raft yourself. So well done, and we will definitely be saying our farewells in different ways with different members of our community, just like we want our students to do as well. So thank you for tuning in and listening, and tune in for next week's, which will be the last Patter with Pauline podcast this year. Have a lovely weekend.